We're back. Well, half of us. Welcome to the Steve Malcolm Show, episode 7. 7 times 7 equals 49. Like always, it's Malcolm here in the place to be. And momentarily, I'll be joined by my partner in crime, Steve. That's right. It's been 6 months. Yes, count them. 6 months since the last Stephen Malcolm episode. And I don't even remember what we talked about, unfortunately. But you can't stay in the past for too long, for you never have a future. You might not even ever have a present. You got to keep that in mind. But there's something you should also keep in mind, is that today, in today's history, because that's always a segment before anything gets started, and on this day in history, we have some famous birthdays, some famous people that were born on February 6th, 2015. First one being Babe Ruth, one of the greatest baseball players of all time, the great Bambino, I think the king of SWAT, all those nicknames. One of the best New York Yankees players and just baseball players ever. He was born on February 6, 1895. I found this out via Facebook from my friends, is that today in 1945, Bob Marley was born. One of the most influential, not just musicians ever, but just people, just one of the most influential people that's ever graced this earth, this world. So today, I don't know how old. I'm not even going to try to do the math, but I don't know how old Mr. Marley would have been. But today is Bob Marley's birthday, and also today is one of our former president's birthday. Ronald Reagan, the former actor turned president. So we have Babe Ruth, Bob Marley, and Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was born in 1911. Neither me or Steve was born during that period. And also one other person, Louis, I think, Buchalter. Heard that name before. He was born in 1897. So those are the 4 famous birthdays of February 6th. Also, there's been a little bit sad, but there's also been some famous people that have passed away on this very day too. One of them being Arthur Ashe, one of the best tennis players. He passed away in 1993. Charles II in 1685. That is too many centuries ago. Emilio Aguinaldo, 1964. In this picture here, he almost looks like oh man, I'm forgetting the Japanese wrestler that does the sling blade. Dang it. And also, the last person to ever pass, one of the most famous people to pass away on February 6th was in 1994. His name was Jack Kirby, the King. For all those people that watch, that read comic books, and for most of those people that you seeing, some of those people you see, those superheroes and supervillains you see on the big screen or TV or your internet. Most of those people you can thank Jack Kirby for creating. So Jack Kirby, he passed away on this very day in 1994. And without further ado, I think it's time to bring in my partner in crime, Stevie Stevers. Come on, Steve. Don't worry, Steve. He's doing okay. He's doing okay, just like I am. He's doing fine. There's nothing to worry about with Steve, except for if he goes on a tirade. But that's just Steve being Steve. I don't have like a I can put like a schedule or a pamphlet or anything that shows what's gonna be discussed, on today's show. The return of the Stephen Malcolm Show. It's a new year. Yes, it's a new year, but it's the same hosts and it's the same channel. So yeah, I don't have a list of the topics or the activities that are going to be displayed on this very episode. But what I do know is that Steve and myself and whoever's watching is going to have a good old time. Come on, Steve. You gotta get in here, Steve. Where's this Steve? This guy's taking too long. I hope he didn't hurt anybody or himself. Come on, Steve. I think I just sent this guy the link. I hope he didn't abandon me. Now wait a minute. He didn't abandon me because here he comes. I can see his profile picture. Here comes Stevie Steve. Stevie Steve looking like he just came from a Comic-Con convention.
I wish. Oh God, today sucked.
Yeah, that's a good entrance.
I'm not even joking. Today was cold as crap and boring. And weird on top of that. And not just like fakely weird, like reminiscing weird. Like think about when I first started working, at my grocery store job and thinking of that fat lady my manager tackled. Oh God. It looked like the Michelin Man got dogpiled by the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Wait a minute. Then that mean they would have fused together.
It was creepy, that's for sure. And then hearing one of my coworkers talk about how they used to work at a gas station and some guy OD'd and fell into a toilet full of piss, which I really did not need to honestly hear. And then talk about how he rose, like he was a zombie after the paramedics revived him. I was like, why is this reminding me of Malcolm's House of the Dead 2 review?
Oh man, oh yeah.
I was just half expecting Goldman to show up.
That's Doug, cause Doug's from the AMS. It's me, Goldman.
Heh, 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 heh.
For friends, we meet again. Look at your right.
No, remember the guy who got stabbed by the vine monster?
Oh yeah. I told my friends not to go in there. No. Like, oh.
No, or the overly dramatic scene of G supposedly dying or being mortally wounded.
Oh yeah. Yeah, G's mortally wounded. First we see G, take this. And like I said, that's a good man.
But then, it almost, to me, it's as bad as, Dr. Light in, Mega Man 8. When he's sitting there, he sounds like a broom closet janitor. it's like you must go and find the source of the energy, Mega Man. We must stop Dr. Wowie. Dr. Wowie? Don't you mean Dr. Wily? I'm like, oh my god. No, and his voice is so flat. Mega Man, Dr. Wowie has I'm like, again, why do you keep saying Wowie?
It,
Like, did this guy have a lisp when they hired him?
it's just like, House of the Dead 2, you got Harry, James, go see what's the concern of the city. I'm like, yeah, you really sound concerned. Cause James over there. What? I don't see anything. And then I won't let you get away. You just did. You just killed the civilian too. There was nothing we could do. It's like, oh, it's like you can't be paid. As I said, it makes you wonder how much were those voice actors paid to do that. And I agree with one person that if the American voice actors were bad, it makes me wonder how the Japanese voice actors were for House of the Dead too.
Care for a hint? It's just like anything else that's dubbed. It's a lot better.
I hope so because you got the freaking
No,
uh
I've actually seen video. Their voice acting is a lot better than say Time Crisis's voice acting and stuff. It's but you know what though? It's like House of the Dead, as bad as it is, and I'm sure a lot of people will actually rag on me for saying this, but at least it's not like Mickey Rourke's voice acting in Rogue Warrior.
see.
Oh God, you listen to clips of that, you're like, yeah, Mickey Rourke sounded so completely disinterested in doing this role. As you progress through the game, I'm just waiting for Mickey Rourke to just sit there and in some blooper reel just go, you really expect me to read this fucking shit? That's how bad his dialogue was in that game.
Because I am the ruler of mankind. Thinking the main villain does not know who he is.
The main villain sounds like he's got Alzheimer's. He's forgetting who he is.
Yeah, and he forget, and his mission doesn't make sense. I am the one to rule mankind. I also hate mankind and will destroy it. How do you rule something that's not there anymore? And then the analogy of your ears while listening to the voice actor is Goldman falling off the building. Goodbye, friends.
No, even better is somehow the guy runs all the way down, and you think that's gonna be like a final boss fight or something with a mutated Goldman. No, it's just like thanks for playing, and it's like you're not welcome.
Yeah, you got James. Thank you. Thank you. No, there actually is an ending where it's the bad ending. Is yeah, when James gets all the way downstairs and the door opens, instead of everybody waving at him, it's a zombified Goldman. And all you hear is pow. So
What?
yeah. Oh, you can go look it up right now.
That just reminded me of something that I saw on Wrestling Fanatics, not like a few minutes ago, where it's Steve Amell from Arrow just literally showed a deal where Sting was showing up on that one Raw, and it's Sting, it's the Vigilante, and you got a close up of Amell in his Arrow gear. Why do they call him that?
Yeah, the whole vigilante stuff, because once again, it's hard. That once again, everybody knows that Vince, he doesn't like stuff that was done in WCW. So since they never called him the vigilante in WCW and they called him the icon, yep, let's not call him the icon or whatever. But you know what else? I also learned this from some fans. In the past couple of weeks, I have learned that fans can get so riled up that they would try to block people from exiting the arena. I've
Oh
also
God, yeah, let's not reiterate me just going off on a bad tangent about, like sports fans in general, especially the fans in Philly during Royal Rumble.
I've also learned that fans were able to compare Katy Perry to a bag of flaming hot Cheetos. I was also I also found out that there are fans that are able to relate Katy Perry to Bam Bam Bigelow. True stuff right there. Because everybody, before even her Super Bowl performance was over, people were already putting pictures of Katy Perry. She looks like, look, her outfit looks like a bag of flaming hot Cheetos, which are
Some
not.
people even actually compared her to like Power Rangers.
Yeah, White Ranger, Tiger Power, White Ranger, Tiger, White Ranger, right, I go now. White Ranger. So yep, it's a myriad of stuff. Oh no, I've also learned that it can take one bad portrayal of a character. Well, no, not necessarily, because it seems like a lot of stuff even prior to that was kind of mushy and bad or whatever. But a portrayal of Wildcat can really ruffle a lot of people's feathers. And what I'm talking about was on Arrow, because I actually watched that last Arrow with my bro Chris, the Mount Vernon kid. And I'm thinking, oh man, we got Wildcat. Okay, he's going against Brick. And he busts up Brick with all these combos. Brick's face is all bloody. Next thing you know, Brick tackles him into a car, gets a couple of punches in. Wildcat goes down, a couple of stomps to the shoulder, and Roy helps him out. And I'm thinking, okay, now Ted, Wildcat, he's gonna get up. What the hell is he still doing down on his stomach for? What the hell? And they say no. And he tries to talk. I'm like, how is he in that much critical condition after just taking two punches and a couple of stumps to the shoulder? How is his face is that bloody? I can't speak. Oh no. It's like that was poopy. We got
The
more.
part is, I haven't even watched Arrow. I'm just listening to everybody, complain about the show. I'm like, and this is why I could not get into it, even from the first episode of the first season. It's, it's just certain shows they will grow on you for a bit, they'll do okay, and then they just go to crap after a while. It's a sad but inevitable truth about TV, folks.
Oh really?
Every show had at least one bad season, and some shows they had multiply bad seasons.
Well, I'll tell you somebody who didn't have a bad day. That's that boy Jay Flo, who's with us right now. How's it going, Jay Flo?
Jay Flo.
Jay Flo, Mr. Jared Flowers. First met the guy on the wrestling corner, and now he has followed over to the Stephen Malcolm show.
No, but all in all, and then, there's the prospect that Constantine might get canceled, which kind of has me and everybody else up in an uproar, because I'm like, man, let another network pick this show up. I feel like NBC is really making a very bad decision in wanting to try to cancel Constantine.
Well, they'll look at it. If we don't lose viewers, can't really say it's that bad of an idea.
It's like it baffles me when a show does really well, as it always has, for the last couple of years, where a show is really good. A lot of people tend to watch it, but the networks are like, it's not making us the money we want. We need to cancel it. It's just like with Young Justice. They canceled Young Justice because the viewership was all females, and they had like a small male demographic. I'm like, how does that justify canceling the show?
I don't know why Constantine is getting canceled.
Like honestly, anybody who watches Constantine knows what I'm talking about. The show has not been that bad. The show has actually been pretty good. It's been a pretty good, to me, it's a good counterpoint to Flash.
I only catch Constantine whenever Chris is watching it. Like I caught I guess it was the last episode, and with the guy, with what was his name, Doctor what Shaw? Yeah, I think Doctor Shaw, and he trapped people in like this other world, you know, that kind of blended reality and a nightmare, but it seemed like all the pain was real and everything. But so I can't, I know, so I never really watched a full episode constantly. But once again, I don't know why it's being canceled. But I've said this and I said it before. Um, I think if a show is going to be canceled, no matter what you feel about the show, I think there should be always a process. There should be a period. There should be a period where it could be 30 days or a month, whatever, or 2 months, a period where it's to see if anybody wants to pick it up. I think that's fair. I think that's very fair that there should be a period, 30 days or a month and a couple of days, where it's to see if anybody wants to pick up the show. Because some shows have gotten that and some shows haven't. I think it should be for all shows. The show, if a network is not going to pick it up, okay, we're going to put it out here for a period to see if anybody wants to pick up this show and run with the ball. You know, I think that should be for every show, unless that show is ending. If that's the final episode, and you know, like with Fringe, how when they got the word they were being canceled, they were able to the Fox gave them enough time to finish, gave J.J. Abrams enough time to finish the series. But if it's like it's this first season or its second season, in this case Constantine's first season, there should be a period where see if anybody wants to pick it up. And if that and when that period elapses and nobody picks it up, okay, then you maybe have no choice. Okay, you're gonna have to cancel the show. That sounds fair.
It's the way it really, I feel, should go. Not that a lot of people would probably, agree with me on that, and I'm okay with that because not everybody's really going to feel the same way that I do about it. But it does bother me genuinely a little bit that people kind of look at shows like Constantine and are like, oh well, it sucked anyway. Who cares if it gets canceled? It's like, well, the show had a fan base too. That's kind of why it matters a little bit.
Yeah, but once again, everything has a fan base. Even for that's why I don't agree when somebody said nobody watches this show. Well, those whatever amount of viewers, the numbers that they're getting, those are the people. That's the fan base right there. Those are the people who are watching it. So you can't say that nobody watches this show. Well, then what do you call those viewers that they are put it in the Nielsen, books and everything in the media books that these are people listen watch the show for that day. It's in the Nielsen media research. So, you know, it's there. It's not phony. It's real. It's damn real.
You had to put Kurt Angle in there, didn't you?
It's true. It's damn true.
Oh Lord. Anyway,
It's
well,
like
yeah, there are some, like in some cases there are some shows that do kind of need to be canceled or end because they kind of run their course. But yeah, they're usually 9 times out of 10. Uh, They usually don't need to be canceled because they still have the potential for more stories.
Yeah, because there's some shows, like for instance, uh, I'm forgetting which season of Ben 10, where it was just nothing but filler episodes. And they set what was supposed to be the main story and slash main villain of that season in place, but they never went on with it. They just kept doing filler episode after filler episode after filler episode after filler episode, and it was like a wasted season. And one person can take it right there, can take it as, well, they're not really doing anything with Ben 10. Why is this series still going? It looks like they're not even doing anything with it. And then,
That's a mystery, Malcolm. I don't think anybody's gonna solve. You coming in here, Cat?
but you got shows, like, once again, I don't know when is a show like The Simpsons going to finally, yeah, I'm going to finally see. This is, we're counting down to the final episode of The Simpsons. The
I know
final.
The Simpsons has gone on for 20 plus years, and that's impressive by any standard. But yeah, it's time for the show to end. It's run its course. They've told every story that could possibly be told. The only story that they haven't done, and I doubt that they would do, is Homer finding Jesus. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's one of the final episodes.
Or Homer turning into you.
That'd be creepy.
I mean, you got a show like Pokemon, which, no, in the case of Pokemon, it's not even
Oh
just.
God, let's not talk about the Illuminati conspiracy theories I have for Pokemon.
What Illuminati? The hell is that? That's the first time I ever hear Illuminati and Pokemon in the same sentence.
No, because you know what I'm always saying. I think so. I think they are purposely keeping Ash, at like 10 years old when he should be at like 16, shacking up with Misty, and instead you got Brock, who's now got gray hairs and is married, and Ash looks the same. It's like Damien from The Omen. He necessarily didn't really grow up until like the third movie when he was an adult.
Well,
And ironically, he was played by Professor Grant from Jurassic Park.
look who's here. It's that boy Kyle, Mr. Lone Wolf. No, let me do the voice of Victor when Steve one of Steve's buddies, what was his name? No, good kid. Mr. Lone Wolf 96. Yes, it's Kyle here. I'm not saying that I've been hating on season 3 of Arrow before it was cool, but I was. Ah, wait a minute, hold on. Now we got also J Flow. Good to be here. It must be good to be here, J Flow. It's always good for you to be here for the wrestling corner. And and J Flow also agrees about Constantine. He says I agree about Constantine, Malcolm. Yeah, you see, I don't watch Constantine, but I just feel for every show, if it's going to be canceled, and there's a lot more to tell, that it's in this prime. It's not even in this prime stage yet. It's the initial stage, and the network's not going to pick it up. Okay, we're going to put it out there for 30 days or so. See if anybody wants to pick it up. And if you do, because for a couple of how many? I think like 3 shows in a row, Netflix was picking these shows up, and everybody thought, okay, Netflix might be the savior now. See, something like that. What? And also to do if the network feels that, no, do we have enough shows? No. Does it fit into our plan? Because I can maybe see, I don't know, Constantine maybe being picked up by maybe Sci-Fi. No,
Sci-fi would make sense because the show is dark, but it's not like dark compared to most of the other stuff that sci-fi does.
man.
Like but I don't know why, but now bringing up Constantine, it reminds me of a woman I used to work with who I occasionally see. And she was talking about, she's a very heavily religious woman. She goes, "Oh, I love Constantine. I think the guy who plays Constantine is sexy." But she goes, "But when he starts doing that voodoo demon shit, I gotta fast forward." I'm like, "Yo, why do you sound like every stereotypical like black grandma that they show in film?" I'm like that just sounds wrong.
No, that sounds wrong. Deflated balls.
The what?
Yeah, deflated balls.
Oh God, we're going back to this crap. I read that everywhere. I'm like, who cares about a deflated football? Like that honestly is newsworthy. Finding out that Prince Charles married a tranny, that is newsworthy.
Or
Oh,
that
Tom
Bruce,
Brady
or
threw
that
a football and it deflated. It's like,
no, it did not deflate while he threw it. They were already deflated. They were already deflated in the benefit of the Patriots. You know what else is newsworthy? What I found out is that Bruce Jenner is having a sex change.
oh God, yeah, that's the second thing that should not be newsworthy. It's like, I'm in the best shape that I've ever looked like. Who the fuck cares? You look like a wrinkly ass mummy.
Well, you must care, Steve, since you commented on
I'm commenting on it because my mother watches Keeping Up with the fucking Kardashians and it drives me nuts. It's like,
it.
why? And here's my mother's reasoning. Because it's entertaining. I'm like, is not an answer. It is not an answer at all. Entertaining is watching Kim fall on her giant silicone bum bum and one of the cheeks busts. That's entertaining.
But why is that entertaining? See, you answer a question with an answer that leads to another question. Okay, then why is that entertaining?
But see, it shouldn't really be a question because does nobody who actually knows me or has listened to my insane rants not understand that I'm a sadistic SOB by now? Because if they haven't, allow me to break the ice. And I'm not talking about the Arnold Schwarzenegger pun from Batman and Robin.
But
I am literally very psychotic and very sadistic when it comes to wanting people that I cannot understand why they have the attention that they do actually get hurt. It's just like my rivalry with Oprah that will never be explained. It just is.
I know. I think I now once again I know the reason for why your rivalry with Oprah exists. It just will never
And you
be
know what?
said.
Many people laugh at that theory.
It, it,
Because some of them actually believe that in an alternate universe, it could have possibly been true.
it'll just never air. It will just never air. That
Although the funny thing about Oprah that I learned this week is that apparently she's on a top 10 list of celebrities out of touch with reality.
that's pretty sad.
That that actually did make me chuckle at least a little bit. I'm like, of course, because she's got the jetpack from James Bond and she floats over her audience.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody's like, "Oh, you're just mad because she's a rich black woman." No, I don't like her
No,
because she's a rich black woman with a giant, like flower head like D'Lo Brown.
no, if it was me, I let's rewind a little bit back. Said because she's a rich black woman. If it was me, why does her being black gotta be brought up anyway? So if she was a rich Pakistani woman, it wouldn't matter. It's,
And
it's like what you
no,
mean.
no, no, no. The reason why I put that response out there is because it was said by an actual black woman shopping at the store who happened to
Yeah.
overhear my conversation. And I looked at this woman. I'm like, I just looked at her and I pulled a page out of Chris's book. I just looked at her and I'm like, get out of here.
And it's like her being, it's like with me, her being black has nothing to do with it. It's like, for instance,
No, her having a big giant D'Lo Brown flower-like head has everything to do with it. Good Lord, I'm scared. I'm scared that if you put Devon right next to her, her head will start growing like a chia pet.
but you know what's funny? That Peyton Manning got a kind of big head, and you don't see Kyle hating on him. You don't see that. Now,
It's
do
just like
you?
that weird article that I found about some Japanese girl who apparently hid her ugly face with makeup, and I'm like, I still feel very chronologically confused, Malcolm, about like why I found that article and why I felt compelled to read it all the way to the end.
Yeah, I don't get it. Why would you do that?
And the freaky part for me is why would this girl like cover? No, a better question would be why did this guy date this girl for 3 months and not figure out that the makeup was a facade? It's just like that one video of that dude who saw his girlfriend without her weave on and thought she looked like a little boy. I
Yeah,
I literally somehow in the last couple of weeks, Malcolm, I have managed to somehow at one point or another in the day found myself in that weird part of the internet. I
yep.
don't know how.
And
I can't
and
explain how. I just do.
and when you see stuff like that, you only got one reaction.
What the hell did I just watch?
That is the reaction. That is the reaction. When you see stuff like that, you just gotta go to the guy from from House of the Dead. You just gotta go to him. You just gotta go to that man, the no man. It's
Oh,
like,
I don't even know half of what I'm talking about. I'm like hardly
yeah, look
incoherent.
at you. You hurting yourself. See, you hurting yourself thinking. That's what George Bush did when he thought of a plan. That's president.
Oh.
All right.
No, in my head, every time that I go to say something stupid, I just hear good old JR in my head. It's like, it's like, for God's sake, stop the damn match.
But now look, with all joking aside, I still have to comment on how George Bush handled, and I mean in terms of emotionally how he handled. I didn't really crack under pressure when he was told while he was reading to children that 9/11 happened. He didn't panic. He didn't let the kids panic. He held it like a true pro. So there's something. There's a lot of things you got to commend. And Steve is on the camera and his face is all shiny like somebody just took butterscotch and just in his face.
Took butterscotch.
I can
The
go for I
hell?
can go I
Out
can
of all the things, why is butterscotch the thing that you think of?
I can go for some butterscotch right now. Yeah, go for some butterscotch. I go for some butterscotch and hit the town and hit somebody in the face with it and just say, hey, I was just giving you some scotch, not scotch tape, but yeah, I could also go for some scotch tape and try to tape up all the weird things I see together and make a collage and say, hey, that's my day.
Oh, that's why I always keep duct tape in my work bag because you never know when you're gonna need duct tape. That's like the number one survival utensil.
Oh, see, here we go again. See, there go Kyle. It's been going on ever since. No, since he watched The Gray with Liam Neeson, with his voice. I'm just saying fuck. Like somehow that's really funny. Guess because I'm picturing Liam Neeson's voice, and I'm saying that it probably is really funny. And just like you know, Professor Xavier in the old 90s X-Men, he said I'm disappointed. It sounded very sarcastic and all raspy. I'm disappointed. Like, like and then anytime he gets knocked down, it's crazy. It's just like anytime. It's just like it's funny how the voice tone changes. Like with Luke Kang when he's doing all the attack, it's all that wah wah. And then once he gets hit, ugh. Like,
Yeah, Liu Kang, who's infamous. We are enemies.
yeah, and who I feel is going to be the main villain of Mortal Kombat X.
It wouldn't put past it.
Yeah, Ed Boon said that the main villain will be a surprise. It'll be a surprise to all Mortal Kombat fans. And so this main villain is not a main villain. It will be a heel turn, if you will. And to be quite honest, not saying I'm siding with him if it is Liu Kang, but if it is him, Liu Kang would have every reason to be upset at Raiden. Raiden, for some odd reason, even though he's a god, doesn't know his own strength. None. Doesn't know a damn thing about his own strength. He didn't have to kill Liu Kang. He didn't, but he did. And it ended up being, which I'm surprised, maybe there is a meme for it, but it was like, Liu Kang is dead. Again. Right. Way to go, Raiden. Way to freaking go. Like, any longer.
Yo, that did not look right.
Yeah, any longer. I thought you had your fingers pressed against your face so hard that I was gonna hear it crack. Like,
No, somebody had sent me like a clip from the last Flash episode, which showcases a certain Flash villain that everybody's been waiting for. So it's kind of cool to see that, but man, that did not look right. That's something
oh.
that did not look right the way he grabbed that dude.
No, not just that.
It's like, yo, it made you think of like a certain Nintendo character and a red plumber and barrels.
That's that boy Mario. No, but I just went on Facebook and like on the side, and Kayla put up this post, and it's pretty funny. The picture of it is on. He wants to know. I'm scared of her bush. I'm like, it's like, whoa, whoa. That's like, hey, dude, man. So how was last night, man? I couldn't do it. Why not? I'm scared. She's like a sociopath or a psychopath. No. She's a sadist. No. She got bad feet. No. It's a bush.
What?
What?
She got bad feet.
Hey, see, it's funny I thought you would get that reference because in the movie Boomerang with Eddie Murphy, for some reason, every time he slept with a woman, he will always check their feet, and he would judge them by their feet. For some reason, I never understood it. Younger, even Chris still doesn't really understand it. Cause I remember one time in one season,
It's a foot fetish thing.
he's with Martin Lawrence and David Allen Greer, and he talked about the girl's feet, and it was like hammer time. It was like hammer time with those feet. I'm like, oh.
Oh my God, Eddie Murphy plays a guy with a foot fetish. That
You know
somehow
what?
that does not seem to really be out of the realm of impossibility with Eddie Murphy in real
I'm
life.
assuming, know what? I gotta go with that. Something that his character in Boomerang had a slight foot fetish because it was only played up. Something was always played up after he had he had a night with the woman. And he's like, he will judge on that to depend on if he's going to stay with her or it's going to be a one night stand. It's for some reason, it was always not just the, no, I don't think it's the whole feet, just the toes. It's not sound like Ted DiBiase when he was telling Virgil, the toes, Virgil, the toes, get the toes. It's like, it's like, it's like, hey, Ted, you may be the $1 million man, but those toes sure don't look $1 million. The toes, Virgil. The toes. That you, Virgil,
You ever
thinking,
notice how back in the day, Ted DiBiase's face looked really puffy, like he got stung by a bee?
me and Chris always joke about that Teddy DiBiase. With Teddy DiBiase, if it's not that he got stung by a bee, it's almost like somebody just grabbed him by the face and just kept punching until he swelled up and it never swelled back down. His face was so, his cheeks were so pudgy.
He literally had like that fat baby head.
Right, that's why I'm surprised he didn't dress up like Santa Claus.
Yeah, and I'll never forget that promo because most people at Thanksgiving think about family, they think about food. I think about my money. I'm like,
Right, so he got some funny stuff like that. I just had Chris laughing before he had off to work because he always found this funny. He had JBL sounding like, sound like he's about to, like, like he's having almost, like he's orgasmic, like he's having an orgasm just because Mr. Kennedy beat freaking Undertaker. Well, he didn't beat him in a first blood match. MVP got involved and just got this JBL. Kennedy, Kennedy wins the first blood match, and he got Michael Cole, but he didn't do anything. Kennedy,
no, I
Kennedy.
think what I love is when they showed, King JBL back when he was Bradshaw of APA, and
Oh,
and then he goes, "This pick just broke the space-time continuum." I'm like, and I remember the pit, and I remember when that happened too, and I'm like, "Oh my God, that is creepy foreshadowing."
it's creepy foreshadowing for the fact that it's the same three guys and it's the same seating position. That's how it's
Almost,
JBL, Cole, and King.
almost. King and Cole were switched around.
Oh, okay. It's like, what the?
Like you had Bradshaw, King, and then Cole, and then you look at it, JBL is still on the left, but then you got King on the right now, and you got Cole in the center. Yeah, but even then, I'm like, oh my God, it's not just creepy, scary that these three guys are doing commentary now. It's creepy that JBL is in the same position on the table that he was in the picture.
And JBL actually won verse on worst commentary for 2014.
At least it's not like you talking about, did this fool Byron Saxon just say the Bellas are the face of the Divas division?
No, not that he said they were the face of the division. That this guy said, and I heard it perfectly. The Bella Twins, they have been the faces of the D division for a better part of 7 years. I'm thinking,
No, the minute that I read that, I kept thinking, somebody needs to go back to NXT.
I'm like, I know this fool did not just say that the Bellas have been the faces of the Divas division for 7 years. I thought back, 7 years. That's how long they've been in the company. For 7 years. They have not been the face since they've arrived, when the only thing they could do was a jumping snapmare. That has not been the case. I'm thinking, hey, Byron, you smoking something? You smoking that ganja weed? Hey, you
And,
know,
I gotta say this while I'm eating this pizza live on camera because I just don't care. But is it me? But I'm starting to see the evidence of the concussions on Corey Graves because you notice how his eyes seem like they're moving more closer together now. Like it seems
um,
like he's almost cross-eyed, like Perry Saturn.
I don't think concussions have anything to do with that.
Well, maybe that's just the way his face is. But when he's staring into the camera, he's like staring and doing this move, like he's almost like I'm like, yo, are you cross-eyed, Corey?
Yeah, we got
Like,
another,
well, like I'm just waiting for him to just look and do like a Perry Saturn. Hello, the blue ones are for fiber.
which is the
And
color, which is one of the colors for the Stephen Malcolm Show logo.
no. The moment that I think what would be funny is if Saturn started doing like cameo dills, like all the legends and stuff, like, and Saturn just goes over and he just sniffs Renee, and Renee's just looking at him creepy, and he goes, "You smell like a Viking."
Wait, uh, oh my, g- oh my gosh, poor Renee will have to deal with that. Hey, another comment from Mr. Lone Wolf, Kyle. Yeah, seeing King Kong was awesome. He he. Um, wait, Liam Neeson was in King Kong.
No, he's referencing the Flash, hint that I was dropping a
Okay,
while ago.
she's talking about
But
garage.
yeah, talking about Gorilla Grodd, and man, that one dude that he grabbed at the end of that clip, I think he grabbed that dude like like Donkey Kong grabbed Peach, and that other dude did not pull a Mario. He did not throw barrels at him or dodge him.
Well,
No, I think what I love is the guy holding on, and all you see is just Grodd's hand like grab the guy, and you just hear the guy just go. He literally just did almost like the guy in the house that did too. He's just like,
no, it's just like it's just as funny. That's actually a see clip. I mean, just as funny as Matt Morgan looking like Smokey the Bear's cousin.
oh my god.
When Matt Morgan grew out that beard, I'm thinking,
And that bad tan line.
yeah, he grew out a beard. He had this tan, and he started wearing all this. He started wearing all gold, and I'm like, yo, this guy looks like Smokey the Bear's cousin now. And that McMahon's word was me and Chris was dying when I brought it up last night. That Matt Morgan publicly stole Hogan's memorabilia. Hey, he walks into Hogan's store while I was opening. It's like they had this grand opening for Hogan's store, and you got all this memorabilia of Hogan. You got his old role back when Freddie Blassie was managing him, and this Matt Morgan steals it right in front of everybody on camera. I'm like, ain't nobody's gonna, call the cops or this guy's not gonna get arrested. He just stole this man's memorabilia. But Hogan's maybe thinking, well, if I try to do something, I may make the same noises when Sting was putting paint on me. which I, which my hypothesis was proven correct. If you have not seen that video, and you
I
play,
swear, just listening to that scene without watching the video in context, guys, it literally sounds like gay porn. Like, gay rough porn. And just, still to me, the best part is Sting just yelling at Hogan, and you got Hogan in the background, ha, ha. And
yeah,
just, no, and you got Sting just like angrily yelling, and you hear like slopping sounds. I'm like, what the hell is Sting doing to Hogan?
yeah,
It's just you and me, Terry, just like it's always been. I'm like, oh god, this sounds so completely wrong.
you got you got Hogan, yeah, and then you got Sting, but you gotta make the choice. Ha 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 ha. Boo.
Who the
And I
hell
love
do you think you are? I'm the Stinger.
I'm a singer, and I'm not done yet. Yes, get the hell. No, no, yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. It's like I love Steve's reaction because the reaction anybody would have, and that was my first reaction was, why didn't Hogan try to push thing off? He just took it.
Yeah, cause like this dude has thrown the Rock across the ring, but he can't even push back Sting, who literally doesn't even have like the tightest grip on Hogan.
He just has him by the. He just clamping on his shoulder. I mean, oh man. But the funny thing is, when I first watched that Impact, when I first watched that Impact, and seeing that scene, I don't think I found it funny, but because I was just laughing at this Hogan I first thinking, what is Sting doing? And then when Hogan comes back, I'm like, just put paint on him. He actually allowed it to happen. But then I watched it again, and I see that comment. Man, the sounds Hogan was making was disturbing, and I'm just listening to the sound. It's just freaking hilarious and disturbing at the same time. Oh,
I mean, man, that just listening to Hogan, I'm like, I literally just asked flat out, I'm like, is Sting raping Hogan?
son, you would get that impression right when you hear, Sting,
Hey, if you just listen to the audio,
and you
it
just
literally sounds like they're having gay porn.
hear Sting, man, this is fun, and then the next thing you know, sit down, Terry. It's just you and me. Like it's always been like, oh no.
That's the part is just, the way that Sting says it. It's just you and me, Terry. Just like it's always been. I'm like, oh, God.
It's like, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like freaking, you know, the the Wicked Witch, my pretty. Like it's like gotta do the SpongeBob. Get away.
No, but, I mean, it's bad. It's just like Scott Steiner apologizing to Matt Morgan when he started kicking his ass bad.
Hey, look who has arrived. It's Mr. Banks. Nathan Banks. Hey fellas. What are you, Seamus Nathan? Fella?
It's all it's almost nearly as bad as when I was spending that whole entire night explaining telling you and Chris the list of all of Haku's like devious superhuman deeds.
Well, Chris didn't hear all of them. It was mostly me. Chris even need to hear all the stories of Haku to realize that Haku is is practically superhuman.
He's like Mongo from Blazing Saddles.
Well, never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo. And we're not talking about Mongo Steve McMichael. Not that Mongo.
No, but
Who's actually doing well for himself.
it's just funny when you and I found like that auto commercial, and I actually went back and watched that because it's just funny because they're like they're doing every promise, and then here comes Haku right on the screen. He's just all smiley. He's got like that smiling Samoan guy face, and he goes,
I promise.
I promise that your car will always look its best. I'm like, yo, and I love what one guy's comment was. He goes, dude, I would buy a car just because of Haku.
I would too. This guy took Mace in the face
This
and
guy
didn't
took Mace
react
in
to
the
it.
face, got literally arrested by 8 officers. 8 officers took to arrest him. He literally snapped the handcuffs clean apart behind his own back and literally just looked at him and go, what else you got?
I mean,
I'm sorry, I don't care how much police training you have. When you have a dude do that, that's the moment that you piss yourself and run.
that just that just that just freaking
This guy is
debilitated.
not allowed in Japan anymore because he threw a guy through a second-story window and almost killed him.
See, that's just debilitates all your
and let's not count, the first one that you really took Malcolm off guard was Malcolm off guard as well as me, talking about he got into a fight with some dudes, and at one point he bit a chunk out of a dude's back.
yes. How do you? How can you really bite the back to the point that you can get a good grip on it, that you can take a chunk out? The back is one of the most flattest parts of your body.
And then I think it was like Jumpin' Jimmy Jack Flash or something like that, like one of the old school wrestlers, during like the 80s who had like that 70s, Superfly, like super junk, kind of gimmicks, those like flashy jobber gimmicks. Guy got into a fight with him in Puerto Rico and he put the dude's eye out.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, it was him that got arrested.
Yeah, he got arrested. No, let's not forget another story with Haku, and probably the one that always makes me laugh because you can tell it's really credible because the person telling it was when Bobby the Brain Heenan was managing him as part of the Powers of Pain. Him and Barbarian.
No, they weren't the Powers of Pain. The Powers of Pain was Warlord and Barbarian. They didn't even have a name. The Barbarian and Haku, yes they did. In WCW, they were the Faces of Fear.
Yeah, but I think they had something. I think in WWE they teamed up together, didn't they? And they had a different name, but
yeah, they were just Barbarian Haku.
but Bobby the Brain, he was actually there, and he heard just like anybody else. You hear these stories and you wouldn't believe it. And Bobby the Brain, he's a pretty honest guy in the industry. He doesn't BS. So if you have somebody like Heenan tell you a story, it's got to be true. He said that one time he said he couldn't believe it. Half of the stories about Haku till it actually happened. He said that a dude literally went up, the biggest dude in the bar, went up to Haku, started talking shit to him. Went to try to fight him. Haku reached into his mouth when he talked to him and ripped out, clean out, roots and all, one of his bottom teeth. And not just one of his bottom teeth from the front. No, he probably ripped out one of his wisdom teeth from the very back.
You hear that? Wisdom teeth. Wisdom. That's all the way in the back.
Or at least like one of the back molar teeth. Literally, no, and to make it worse, he didn't stick his hand in there. He stuck these two fingers in there and ripped it out.
Yes.
Just his thumb and his index finger.
The same two fingers that you hold a coin with. Like, hey, let's see, like this. See, like this? See, got a coin right here? See, like that. Ding.
And then, and it's like you'll hear all kinds of crazy stories in wrestling, but man, I think there was one, I don't even remember what it was. I think it was like the infamous, DDP, like Scott Steiner brawl. And even in that one, even though he wasn't really, even though he wasn't in the fight itself, Haku was one of the people that was prying apart Scott Steiner. I'm like, and it led to that funny moment where you actually looked back and you go, man, even when he's not involved in the fight, Haku's still there.
Yeah, it's like even when he's not even involved in the action, Haku is there. And it's still one of the funniest, backstage fights. It's not the fight, it's the detail. It's like of all the details, Paul Orndorff being in sandals is one of the most important details to a fight. Him being in sandals.
Orndorff even backed the story up, makes it even more hilarious. But then again it's like you hear a lot of really really funny ass stories. Like there was one where Blackjack Mulligan, Ric Flair, and I forget who the secondary wrestler is because my mind's blanking right now, but they were in like Florida on like one of the beachside restaurant resorts. And they were having a sissy slapping match, just having fun. Andre had like 60 beers or something that day, and and I think it was Mulligan who accidentally full-on slapped, Andre. Next thing you know, Andre takes this other guy and Blackjack Mulligan drags him across the sand of the beach and tries to hold both their heads under the water and drown him. And it took Ric Flair jumping into the water and jumping on Andre's back, which in and of itself is an impossible feat, and trying to put a sleeper hold on Andre to get him to stop.
I mean, I could just picture that. You Scott Flair, now Andre, now.
And you know what makes this story even more messed up, guys, is that Flair was the one that instigated it.
Yes. Flair was the instigator. Flair's the one that basically instigated freaking Mulligan them to basically rile up Andre.
But still, to me, Bobby the Brain telling that story about, the flight attendant that was dumb as crap. He's like Andre's just sitting there in the seat, the one's like, oh, can I get you anything? And Andre just going, screwdriver, like the actual drink screw. There's an actual drink, guys, that's called the screwdriver. She came back and gave Andre an actual screwdriver. and Bob and Heenan just said, Andre looked at her with this look and was like, now what would have happened if I asked you for a Bloody Mary?
Let's check it on the comments here. Nathan, hey guys, watching TNA Lockdown. No, because since I'm in Chris's room and Chris his DVR, he's got two things recorded. I believe Grimm and what else comes on Friday? Oh, and I'm Hawaii 5-0 because he got those two things taping. I'm going to be missing the first hour of Lockdown. That's how it's been with TNA lately. I mostly I record the second showing, the 11 to 1 o'clock. So when Chris comes, me and him been watching it together. But yeah, it's funny that Lockdown been moved to for this year a TV special instead of a pay-per-view. It's surprising because Lockdown is one of TNA's premier pay-per-views. It's like how WWE has their big four, Survivor Series, WrestleMania.
It's kind of like their Royal Rumble.
So what can I count Lockdown? Do I want to count as their Royal Rumble? I would count Lockdown more as WCW's Fall Brawl. Because that's where the concept comes from, the Lethal Lockdown and, War Games. Yeah, it's like their War Games. It's like the War Games. And for this year, it's been moved to it. And let's face it, TNA, because some reason ever since the summer, TNA been showing previews. They show like a regular sitcom. They show a preview of the next show. And I'm thinking, why would you do that? Already showing on the last Impact, Jeff Hardy falling, the fall that Jeff Hardy took from the cage. I'm like, well, somebody watching that now knows that the Hardy Boys do not beat the Revolution for the tag team titles. And
the Revolution.
Yeah, the Revolution. That's what James Storm's group is called.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they finally have a stable name. Oh my God.
Yeah, because they got that great Sonata. It's like Storm. When you be trying to pay homage to the Japanese, it just comes off weird. That great Sonata.
No, because remember, you got James Storm, as you said, that one scene, he just literally sounded like he's, swallowing or choking on mouthwash.
Wait.
Yeah, I remember when he was beating the guy, fight back! Fight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when he was beating on Sonata for Sonata turned against Great Muta, and fight back! Fight back! I'm like, what? But yeah, they finally got a name, the Revolution, and him and Abyss are tag team champions.
Which to me, that still doesn't make sense to me.
Abyss looking like a Watchmen reject. He's one of the rejected characters that Alan Moore had in mind. I mean, and now I've been spoiled on one thing in particular for lockdown because ten, this was taped. Lockdown was taped January 9th because that New York taping was from the 7th to the 9th. Only the first show was live. But I've been spoiled on one thing, and it's kind of because of it piqued my interest because I was on divadirt.com, which is a good site for all those women wrestling fans. Um, and um, and Jessica Havoc appeared on Shine. She returned to Shine, and everybody it raised a lot of eyebrows. 'Cause a lot of people thought, wait a minute, didn't TNA put out that deal where you know you cannot be a part of an independent pay-per-view, an IPPV, if you are under contract with us. So when everybody saw Jessica Havoc come back, everybody like, wait a minute, is she done with TNA? And and yeah, people already comment, no, she's not. She already put on Twitter, I'm not going anywhere. And everybody was then talking about, man, I'm upset. You know what happened at lockdown. I'm thinking, I got the idea. Maybe some Havoc fan, maybe a Jessica Havoc fan, maybe upset at what happened with her match with Kong. But then when I heard somebody say, no, it's not. No, they say it's no, it's not because the end, not because she lost, it's because of the ending. So that had me thinking, like, okay, how did this match end? Because I was really looking forward to this match, and I'm still am, even though I know how it plays out. Because big fan of Havoc, and I'm a big fan of Kong, and it's something I've been waiting to see since 2011. And I look up the spoilers from Lockdown. I only make sure to look up how that match turned out. And as a fan for both, and as much as it was anticipated in this match, I can understand fans being upset at how the match ended. Now, it's 9:42 Eastern. This match has maybe happened already, or it's maybe happening right now. And it seems like you are watching Lockdown, Nathan. But yeah, the ending of the match, I really don't like. I really don't. I really don't. It's just like how Chris did not like the ending to the Bray Wyatt Dolph Ziggler match on Raw, which was a great match, by the way. But there's one thing that Chris cannot stand, and I'm with him, is the no selling of finishing or slash signature moves. And why? Because I don't understand the logic of how do you sell a clothesline, a suplex, a body slam, a hard Irish whip into the turnbuckles, but when a person hits their best move, it doesn't phase you. That doesn't make sense because Bray Wyatt took Dolph Ziggler's Famouser and merely jumped to his feet and did the Sister Abigail. And I think Chris is really considering on making a shirt of the idea I came up with. NS is BS. No selling is bullshit. Because Steve is one of the quotes of Steve that I'll always bring up. Because we know how Steve feels. This is Steve. I don't like bullshit. Don't
I
get me.
don't.
I don't like bullshit.
I don't.
That would be Steve's song. I don't like bullshit. You come with me with that, you get flat.
Okay, I've never said that, but still.
That
What
I'll
the
be,
fuck? Tom Green will be in Baltimore in February.
I said that because that'll be part of the song. You got to make up these things as we go along. But you know, speaking of, I guess, kind of anticlimactic, because it kind of has the same feel, the same theme of two imposing figures going at it. And it's not in TNA, it's in NXT, and that's with Baron Corbin and Bull Dempsey. I said it on the Wrestling Corner, I'll say it again. As much as I like NXT, this has to be one of the most confusing executions I've ever seen in NXT in terms of feuds. They basically built up this feud for 2 months, a good slow burn of them just staring at each other. They're not really touching each other, not really getting too physical. Then the first match comes, and it's pretty much a back and forth brawl a little bit, and it looks like Bull, it might win this thing. He hits his Vader attack, and then he goes for his diving headbutt, shades of Bam Bam Bigelow, which is why I agree with Steve's comparison. Like if Bull came to the main roster, and the crowd just started chanting Bam Bam Bigelow, Bam Bam Bigelow, and he misses the headbutt, and surprisingly, I know Baron Corbin is a pretty tall dude who for some odd reason Steve feels would be Kyle if Kyle was in Sons of Anarchy for some reason. I still don't get how he got that. But so Kyle, if you're still watching, go look up a man by the name of Baron Corbin and ask yourself, do you see yourself in that? But you know what? Maybe Steve was thinking about his nickname being the Lone Wolf, and that's maybe where he got it. Kyle called himself Mr. Lone Wolf. So, hey, there it is. He's got the same hair color as Kyle. He maybe doesn't have the same beard like Kyle, but hey, that would be Kyle if Kyle was taller. And by the way, Kyle is pretty tall. He's taller than me. Well, a lot of people, mostly everybody is taller than me, so that's really no biggie. But surprisingly, Baron Corbin, he hits the end of days, and why does it look like Steve is frozen? I think Steve is frozen. Steve. Wait a minute. Wait, there's Steve. Steve. The hell? Now Steve's back, but I knew he froze. I knew that he froze. Cause just had Steve just
Well,
like
that
this.
was interesting.
Just had Steve. I'm thinking, Steve, why are you so enamored with what I'm talking about here? And next thing you
No,
know,
it's like the minute that you said, "Oh yeah, the lone wolf," and I just was about ready to comment, and the next thing you know, my screen froze. It restarted, and then it wanted me to install, the Google Plus, plug-in again, because it likes to do that.
yeah. So you see, and surprisingly, Baron Corbin hits the end of days on Bull, which I was surprised at, because Baron Corbin's a tall guy, but Bull is pretty heavy for his size. He's pretty stocky.
I did actually a little bit of what might explain why is because I found out that Corbin actually is a former football player. I think he actually played for the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh shoot! See, look at that. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, he was a former football player before he came out to NXT, and I also found out before that we've been introduced to Corbin and Bull before. Both of them were actually, big guy jobbers when they started out in NXT.
Yeah, they were. That's why when they said when him and Mojo, when Bull and Mojo had a match, when finally he was Bull Dempsey, and they were like, oh, they never found. I'm like, wait a minute. Mojo one time faced Bull when Bull was just a jobber. I remember seeing it, and then Baron, he was a tag team partner. He had a tag team partner, and I remember seeing him. But So then Baron, he beats Bull, and I was surprised he got that in. I was still at the same time like, man, that match was pretty quick.
I
Then
still
this,
didn't find that promo, Malcolm, that you said that Bull gave. I would have loved to have watched that.
you
But I
gotta
do love
work.
that. But I do love after the match. Bull's like, yeah, you got lucky, you got a fluke, and da da da. And I love Baron Corbin. Corbin just looked at him and goes, "Get out of here!" And he just shoves Bull and keeps walking. I'm like, he didn't take it
Exactly. Then the second match come, which once again, that was more of a squash than the first match. Bull barely got any offense, and I'm like, and then just like that was over, I'm like, whoa. I'm thinking, that's interesting. And then yeah, it looked like he's gonna cut a post match promo. And here comes you see Bull creeping up behind him. You got lucky. Next time I knock your teeth down your neck. No, Baron, just get out of my face. And I'm like, so not only do you get squashed, you get punked out. Yeah, that really does something to your credibility. So I just find the execution of this feud pretty confusing. And if and it's still going because and I bet you a lot of people saw this coming. Me and Chris watched NXT last night, the go home show before NXT Rival.
Why am I imagining? Because I'm curious to see if they're gonna play this up, since he had his rematch with Corbin. But I'm now wondering if secretly we're going to see, everybody's favorite, new age jobber, CJ Parker, actually try to conspire with Bull, because they kind of were going with that angle, and then they went nowhere with it for a while.
Yeah, it's good you bring that. It seemed like at first I thought, was that just a one-shot angle you just had? It's not about beating him, it's about humiliating. I'm thinking, okay, are you using CJ Parker as a pawn? Like to try to wear Baron
Yeah, because
down?
at first, the way that the angle kind of went, Malcolm, it kind of made us wonder, okay, so Bull's whole plan is just to try to do the whole like beat the clock thing, because the NXT universe counts down the time of, when Corbin's going to be his next opponent. So it's like, okay, he's used to beat him in 20 or 30 seconds or so. Maybe, with CJ Parker and Bull, they were going to try to get it to where it lasted like a minute or two, like actually try to make, Corbin, like basically, expire his time limit, if you will. Make, kind of punk him out in that sense, play mind games leading up to their match. And they never went anywhere with that. Like, Bull didn't even interfere in the match with CJ Parker, which I thought was a very big missed opportunity to really extend this rivalry and make it, more hyped.
Well, he did interfere in Corbin's last match with Neville.
Yeah, which I kind of figured that they weren't going to let Corbin advance in the tournament, that they were going to give Neville, the victory by DQ.
No, he didn't win no, he beat him. He didn't. It's not like Bo. Not like, why do I keep saying Bo? No, because Bo Dempsey actually does sound good too, Bo Dempsey. But no, it's not like Bull attacked Neville.
Oh God, Bo Dallas, who I'm glad that we don't see anymore on WWE television, but I do miss him kind of in NXT. Just because that time that campus security chased him around.
That was a very funny segment.
That was just funny just because they were carrying him out on all fours. It's like, help, police brutality, they're touching my bum bum. I'm like, what the hell? Oh, no, wait, no. Even better. When Sami Zayn faced him and he was Mr. NXT.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I love Alex Riley's stupidity. Oh, no, he's from Mexico. Why is he speaking perfect English then?
Yeah, it's like, and it's just funny how Sami Zayn was able to get the mask off.
It's like, you're not fooling us. You're not fooling us. It's like, we know you're Bo. And it's like, I'm not Bo. Wait, did he just say I'm not Bo? No, he said, he said I'm too pro. It's like, and you just see Renee, and I love that Renee is literally playing like the role of JR, which to me is which to me is hilarious because I love Renee on commentary sometimes. No, I'm pretty sure that I heard him say, I'm not Bo. And then you got Alex Riley trying to literally, in the worst way possible, play off that, oh my God, I didn't know it was Bo the entire time. And I'm just like, and then this fool, speaking of Alex Riley, getting on Twitter and complaining he wasn't in the Royal Rumble and threatening to walk out of WWE like he's an important figure.
Wait a minute, what?
No, I'm not making this up. Like, literally, if you actually check on Google right now, Malcolm, you Google it, Alex Riley has actually, honest to God, went on Twitter and complained that he was not in the Royal Rumble match and literally feels like WWE is stiffing him. So he's literally put this hashtag called Riley Walks.
Um, if I'm not mistaken,
He's literally threatening to basically leave the company.
if I'm not mistaken, isn't this guy? Didn't he retire? Wasn't it like an injury where it stopped him from actually competing?
It's just it's stupid, but I think the biggest thing that WWE has to handle, and I didn't get to watch the video because WWE, has taken it down. They've done a smear campaign to stop it, because somebody leaked that, yeah, most of these shoot interviews that we've been seeing are actually works, in secret, because they showed a leaked script of the scene when Brian was doing, his, I guess you could say, his shoot interview with Michael Cole. And come to find out, no, it was a work because he had a producer telling him his lines and stuff. And WWE quickly took that, video down, because they kind of basically got exposed with their pants flapping in the wind for a moment.
It's just like with Roman Reigns, how they took that video of him being fed lines. You actually can hear him being fed his lines. And that was,
I don't know, and it's so bad because somebody actually caught a tape, like an actual indie tape that's circulating around the internet that people are circulating, where a fan actually literally watches you. If you read the lips, Triple H is actually secretly mumbling to Roman his lines when they're in the ring.
oh,
It's like, oh my God, Roman can't remember his fucking lines.
You're talking about in this last Raw, right?
I think it was this last Raw, or maybe it was the Raw, or maybe it was like the Raw after the Rumble.
Was it Triple H, Stephanie, Roman, Bryan, and Rollins? And
all I saw was that Hunter looked like he was right near the ropes, and Roman was right next to him, like they were having a face-to-face confrontation. It was just them in the ring, from what I saw.
I think I can believe that because on the last, I'm gonna say Impact. On the last Raw, this past Raw, with Roman, he was just standing there, and then you see Triple H go like this, like cover his mouth, like he's covering up to say something. He most of the time does it to Steph, like when they're like thinking of a plan, like like. But he does it with Roman. He does it near Roman, and you can kind of hear Triple H. Next thing Roman says something, I'm like, like did he tell Roman like to hurry it up, like hurry up the silence, like say something? What?
Or he was, they basically was feeding him his lines. There were fans. There was one fan that managed to hear from the front row that actually said, yeah, she could hear him even though he was trying to whisper. You could hear it. She said, I could hear Triple H actually feeding Roman his lines. And on top of that, it doesn't help that The Rock is taking on to like Twitter and everything else and basically trying to, without coming across as too angry at the universe, basically telling them, oh, give my cousin a chance, and it's not because of me that he's being given a WWE title shot and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, Dwayne, it's like, dude, I love you, we'll always respect you, but just shut your mouth on this case because you're doing more harm than good.
I mean, look, see, this thing got so sidetracked because I was really talking about with Bo Dempsey and Baron. That
I know we jumped from like their rivalry all the way to like Roman Reigns and stuff.
It's not like
it all connects.
It's not like Neville got like Bull attacked Neville to get Corbin disqualified. No, Bull, Neville, they was outside the ring, And I forgot, man, I'm thinking what did Bull do? Man, I'm forgetting what, no, I'm forgetting what Baron did. And I think, no, I think Neville jumped out on him and they were both down. And Neville rolled into the ring. And then my referee was checking on him. Bull came and ran Baron into the ring post. And it did look like Baron was going to lose by countout. But he rolled back in just in time. And then Neville did his sliding kick and it hit the red arrow and got the 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, I thought so too, that either Bull is going to attack Neville just for, to play even more mocking that, yeah, look, I just cost you the match and right in front of you. Or, yeah, he was going to get freaking Baron Campbell. I love Corey Graves' comment on when Bull did what he did. Corey X said, what does Bull got to prove? He just lost twice to the guys. Like, exactly. It's like, you just got your ass, you didn't just lose. You got your ass whooped by this guy twice. And then punked out after the last match. And now at NXT Raw is going to be them once again, but a no disqualification match. I'm like, now you're just giving Baron all the leeway to hurt you as much as he wants to, as possible. He wants to hurt you.
So basically, Baron's out of the tournament and Neville's moving on.
Yes, Neville is in the finals.
That's basically what I tried to say a while ago, and that's basically the gist of what I was trying to say a while ago. It's like, yeah, they're going to move Neville forward because, and honestly, I can kind of actually agree with that decision, even if there is a part of me that's thinking, okay, I kind of want to see Corbin get to the finals but then lose, just because I think that it would actually, it would actually, it would have actually had shown, that, hey, Baron is a big time, contender in NXT. This is a guy that you need to watch, but I also kind of understand, okay, I think they're trying to build that up more for like Finn Balor. Because let's face it, Balor has really, proven that he deserves to be in the main title hunt.
What a badass match between him and Adele. And I knew off the bat it was going to be a good match. It wasn't like, oh, man, this was surprising.
I mean, trust me, I've watched some of their New Japan stuff, and I was like, I can't wait to watch that episode because if they can capture a little bit of the magic of what they've done in New Japan and stuff, Malcolm, I'm excited.
Yeah, man, it was a great match. And, one hot topic has been Triple H's comments towards why China will not be, maybe won't be in the Hall of Fame. While he wants to put her in, but at the same time, there's a reason why that might not happen. For those of you that not watch the Stone Cold podcast, it was a pretty good podcast. It was live on the WWE Network. Stone Cold brought up China, and he's, will we ever see in the Hall of Fame? And he actually, does she deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? That was even a better question. He asked Hunter, do you feel she deserves to be in the Hall of Fame? And he said yes. And then the but came, and even Austin, okay, what's the but? You make it seem like it's a double-edged sword. And Triple was like, it kind of is. He is like, we put China in the Hall of Fame, and then Triple H used his 8-year-old daughter, because I believe his first child was a girl. So his 8-year-old, he's like, my 8-year-old daughter who has no idea who China is, looks up China. What is she gonna find out before not even before basically her wrestling stuff? I'm like, okay, when you put it like that, all right. But then I like what my friend Nate said, that it's hypocritical because you already got tons of people in the Hall of Fame where if you search them out, you will find something bad about them.
I mean, let's be honest. We got a lot of controversial figures in there. We got Carlos Colon, who just the fact that he may have been the person that instigated Bruiser Brody's murder or didn't, etc. and so forth, okay, he's in the Hall of Fame. You got Pete Rose, who is a very controversial baseball figure. He's in the celebrity wing.
See,
So
but see, the thing with Pete Rose is, and it's the big debate. He's got this lifetime ban for the MLB for betting on, games while he's playing. But isn't even now the point where sports, where even baseball playing, like, it's maybe about time you lift off that ban, because you guys really got no proof that he fully did it or anything. But I take Pete Rose out of it. But yeah, you got Carlos Colon, who allegedly and murdered Mr. Brody. And that's who Nate brought up, because he said, let's face it, he's like, let's look at it. You got two possible murderers. And I'm thinking, okay, I know the first one was Carlos Colon, but who's the second one? He said Snooker. I'm like, wait, what?
oh yeah, that's right.
And then he showed me the link to the article with his 30-year-old girlfriend. I'm like, and he never was charged for it. And I'm like, I just said, and that's all I need to see about that. And then he's brought, and you got a convicted rapist in the Hall of Fame, Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was convicted of rape. So just those three alone, right there, that just defeats that argument for China. Like, all right, but you got a convicted rapist, and you got two possible murderers. And then I know for sure there's one fan that is now definitely arguing, and that's why Chris Benoit should still be in the Hall of Fame. I know after thinking about that, when you hear all that, well, you got Carlos Colon, you got Snooker, and you got Mike Tyson. Oh, well, if Carlos Colon probably murdered somebody, then hey, why not have Chris Benoit? So I definitely see what Nate was saying. Yeah, it is hypocritical when you put it like that, because if your 8-year-old daughter or just a kid is going to look up China, they might now find out more about her adult stuff more than what she did in the ring. But then my friend, they brought up another thing. It wasn't just the whole thing about the other Hall of Famers. He brought up that if you was to look up Lana and Cody Rhodes' wife, you will find some nude pictures too. So what's the problem?
Lana and Cody Rhodes' wife?
Yeah, if you look up Lana and Cody Rhodes' wife is in WWE. She's the ring announcer.
Well, I know that, but like, what does that and Lana have to do with anything?
What my friend Nate was saying, Triple H is saying that the reason why he would not put China, the reason why China would not go is because if somebody that does not know China will look her up, they will find all her adult entertainment stuff.
Well, yeah, that I got that, but still, what does Lana and Cody Rhodes' wife have to do to connect to that?
You look up Lana and Cody Rhodes' wife on Google, you will find the same thing.
Oh, they've actually done adult stuff.
Yeah, they have done nude pictures and everything. Same thing for if somebody try to really do a little digging up of Mickey James, they will find some adult entertainment stuff. So, yeah, I understood. That was a strong argument from Nate. It's like, yeah, that does seem hypocritical, because that's the same reason for why there was one female wrestler that was going to be in the WWE. It was when they had the female NXT. She was 6'9". I'm forgetting what they was calling her in WWE, but her original ring name was Isis the Amazon. She's 6'9". And she was going to be Vicky. Vicky was going to be like her mentor. And they had a video package of everything here, her introducing it. I remember me and Chris like, man, that girl, she's standing on something. Next thing you know, when it's time to meet, the next thing you know, they played the ominous music, and they showed the pan up. I'm like, she's really tall. I'm 6'9". I'm like, crap. And I'm thinking, WWE could really do something with her. I was like,
didn't do anything.
I just saw like Now they say you like see money or you just see like opportunity. I'm like, yo, this is that it factor for the women's division right here. This is the it factor right here. This is something different. And next thing you know, WWE releases because they found fetish pictures for Auburn. And I'm like, oh my god. So that's what I'm saying. You released her because of her fetish picture before she came to WWE. But Lana and
Here's something that makes me laugh. What about the fetish pics, quote unquote, of Caitlyn?
exactly, exactly. And look,
And why throughout this entire video do you keep having like your lip curled to the side?
because
Looks weird.
because the mustache, the hair is hanging. See? See? So
You
so
know,
but
it's reminded me of, you know, the and you know, I love what somebody said, and as cruel and as funny as it is, I kind of have to partly agree with it because I feel like they've missed their mark and they should just probably like, you know, like try to repackage them or do something different with them. But is there really nobody else to take Eric Rowan's place? Because I feel like Rowan is just there just to be there now.
are you talking about? Are you commenting on man, what's his name on Wrestling Fanatics?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to come where they ain't about to put it. Well, he put it because he just don't like Rowan. He finds him boring. Just period. He finds him
Well,
boring.
me, I mean, I see the potential in Rowan, but I feel like they're not utilizing him. Like,
What I find interesting about Eric Rowan is that in his backstage stuff, they're doing a good job really expressing and developing his character. Even Chris has said that segment he had with John Cena backstage was a pretty good. I'm like, okay, they're really doing a lot for his to get to know his character. But in terms of the in ring stuff, yeah, it's like he was just fed to Rusev, like to send a message to John.
you know what though? I will admit one thing that is kind of funny, and I'll admit I love, you know, JBL insultingly called him Big Red and stuff, but you notice how like the audience is now actually using that as an actual mocker or nickname for Rowan.
I don't even know why. I don't even know why Jay was trying to use that as an insult because there's a football player, Andy Dalton, who's a redhead, and his nickname is Big Red. I don't understand why Jay was trying to use that as
But I will admit though, Rowan, especially in those work pants, I got to give the dude props. Doing a spin kick in work pants like that is pretty impressive.
yeah, him
Because
and those
anybody
him and that
who has never wore those kinds of work pants, those things are not
yeah
stretchy.
him doing that in a full. I know there are types of overalls, but there's another name for it. They're like
Although
jumpsuit.
he does need to work on his big splash, though.
Yeah, that big splash.
You know, but you know, it is kind of
It's
it
just
is
funny. It's just I agree with Nate. It's like yeah, I didn't even think of Caitlyn until you said it. I didn't even think of her until you said it. So it's one of those deals like you did it for the big Amazon, but okay, but
But
for
Kalen's excuse was, well, I felt ashamed of it because I needed money, and whether it's an excuse or not, I will give, you know, benefit of the doubt. A lot of people make mistakes and they do stuff when they're younger. But you know, at the same time, I don't feel like that should disqualify somebody from a
no,
job or
and
anything
that's what
like
I was
that. It
going
shouldn't.
with. A, it's like A, that was what they did before, and B, once again, and B,
It would kind of be like, you know, if I was to professionally work for Marvel, and because I talked about how in the beginning, you know, making all those fat jokes about Joe Quesada and stuff, and then that disqualifies me from working for Marvel. It's like, no, I said that stuff in the past. It's
yeah,
like, how are you going to hold that against me?
and it's like yeah, that was prior to they came to and once again, like I said, and look, I'm not condemning, women that takes those that are into adult entertainment or the fetish videos and pictures. No, I'm not saying it's bad. I just don't get why would you hold that to without something they did in the past. That's all I'm saying. No, let me do Sean O'Hare. I'm just telling you what you already know.
On top of that,
I'm not telling you anything that you already know.
and plus on top of that, let's face it, there are dudes that, like, honestly, Macho Man, considering, that he was very abusive and controlling of Elizabeth, he probably shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But he's going into the Hall of Fame. Why? Because he is a wrestling icon, and nobody really talks about the whole deal with Elizabeth. It's just like with, and if you really want to talk about, murderers and people doing bad things, look at, the total package. I guarantee you, Luger's going to get into the Hall of Fame at some point, and people are going to bring that fact up as well.
Right.
It's like, look, yes, they do crime just like everybody else, but in the case of Benoit, yeah, it happened. I'm in the very small minority that says that you should honor the athlete, not the man. The man was a terrible person, but the athlete should always be remembered. But unfortunately, after listening and considering it for a while, I kind of have to agree with what Austin meant by, because of what Benoit did, he will never be put in any of the Wrestling Hall of Fames because of that. And while I do feel in my mind that that's very unfair, Malcolm, I also kind of understand, how that would be considered an insult if they did that.
Yeah, and also JR have also said that he feels that Benoit himself, like if Benoit was it, he may wouldn't even want himself in the Hall of Fame, knowing that what I did, because let's face it, when they put people in the Hall of Fame, let's look at MLB, NBA, you name it. When they're showing those video packages, most of the time they just don't show what they did in the ring. They talk about their personal life. So in a way, they are honoring the person too. When you think about that, when they show all the so and so growing up, did all of this and did this off the field or out of the ring, like they're doing with Ernie Ladd, Big Cat Ernie Ladd. Okay, he was a civil rights, was in the civil rights movement, and he played played in the AFL and everything, and all this and that. And just like, yeah,
You know what the funny part about that is that while it's cool that they honor Ernie Ladd, it's the same video packages from last year. So why are you bringing this back up? It's like, I look at that and it's like, oh yeah, the big cat, Ernie Ladd. I'm like, what about Ron? Talk about Ron Simmons for once in a segment.
What they do, it's just like they just do it for like everybody has its own week.
I love, when they did Bobo Brazil, I loved that. I loved hearing about Bobo.
No, you know what surprised me? But they didn't air it on broadcast. But it's on the YouTube that they did one for Elijah Burke. I was like, wait a minute, they did one for Elijah Burke / the Pope? Oh shoot!
Oh God, don't remind me of that one.
Wait, you actually watched that one?
I watched that one and I wanted to puke.
It's like, whoa!
It's like I looked at that and I'm like, how does this, I couldn't even form vowels to try to come up with the word, but I was like, finally I just gave up. Finally I just gave up with whatever insulting name I could think of, and I was just like, this guy, who looks like one of the main characters from the House Party movies, gets his own video package. It's like you got Ron Simmons, Bobo Brazil, Ernie Ladd, all these great, Tony Atlas, all these great, black athletes, the Soul Man, Rocky Johnson, and yet you see Elijah Burke. I'm like, well, hell, I'm like, they could have done one for Teddy Long, and I probably would have applauded that more than Elijah Burke.
It was just pretty surprised when I slept and I was looking up. I think it was when I was watching the Batista Del Rio segment last year, and I It said Elijah Burke. It wasn't no fan made thing. No, it's said by WWE. I'm like, it a Black History Month bill pack for Elijah Burke. I'm like, oh shoot. But so yeah, it's pretty funny that with Rusev and seeing that this is actually going to be for the United States Championship. That threw me
A lot of
for
people are theorizing too, Malcolm, and this is something that I think you and I need to actually just, at least for a moment, talk about because it is a very interesting prospect. The idea of, well, Cena winning the U.S. title is to try to give it some merit before they merge it with the IC title. And a lot of people have been theorizing that. And honestly, I can kind of see why they're making that theory. It part of it to me makes a little bit of sense in a weird way. It really does. Because, why would you have Cena go after, the United States title to strip it off of Rusev? But I love what somebody else said too. It's like, why does it got to be Johnny Boy? It's like, why don't they go back and give Ryback the title? It's like Ryback, deserves to push more than anybody.
that's a little bit of my issue with once.
And they're saying that Rusev is going to beat Cena at Fastlane, and that, of course, Nathan Banks has shown us, this alleged rumor
God, don't. I did not look that up. I didn't want to. I saw it was posted into the Bennett Wrestling Corner chat. That the whole projected WrestleMania card. I don't really. I don't want to look at that thing. I don't want it. No, I don't want to hear anything. I do have some idea of what match because some of them seem natural. For instance, if it's on there and it says Rollins versus Orton, that's natural. That makes sense. But if it says something,
that one is like an automatic, that makes sense.
Bray Wyatt versus Taker, I can already see that they're setting that up with these Wyatt promos. If you definitely the second one he did when he's talking about he used to be the face of fear, and then you let the fear become admiration. I'm like, yeah, he's talking about Taker. Yeah, he's just not mentioning his name
And
yet.
and somebody said, okay, we're gonna have Sting versus Hunter at Mania. I'm like, I could actually buy that compared to him and Taker, even if a lot of fans.
You already see it wouldn't make no sense right now. You have Sting debut by dropping Triple H, and it does not lead to anything. I mean, also he just switches to Taker. That my focus is now on Taker.
No. It's just a lot of fans aren't going to be happy because it's like it's been the fantasy match. But I mean, honestly, I think Sting and Hunter at Mania kind of makes more sense than Taker, and I'll tell you why. Simply because, okay, not just the whole Survivor Series thing, but let's be honest. During the '90s, who were the two biggest on top stars in WCW and WWE? And besides Austin, who was there? With Austin, you had The Rock, you had Mankind, you had Triple H. So essentially, you're taking one of the top tier guys from the Attitude Era, and you're taking Sting, who adapted this Crow vigilante gimmick that they're trying to bring back in WWE. So you're taking two of the big guys, if you will, from either company, and you're going to have them butt heads. And I have a feeling, even though we're not really seeing it, evident on screen, I'm sure Hunter's training, the hell out of himself, to prepare for this match.
He said that to Austin. Austin asked him "How you feeling?" He said, "I feel great." He said, "I feel right." He said, I wouldn't be training 2 days out of the week as hard as I do for nothing. So, and just not just that, these are the top these guys, during the Monday Night War that were on top. It just has to look at the concept. You got abusive power. And Sting is playing a proper vigilante. What do most vigilantes who they go after? A corrupt corporate executive. That's who they most time go after. A corrupt corporate executive or some corporate dictator. No, so it makes sense. But Rusev, I was going to say that's my issue with this whole thing with Rusev and Cena. That I just hope that this does not push Ryback out of the fray, and basically the Rusev and Ryback angle, it ends without a resolution. There's no resolution at all. It's over. It's never picked back up. It's just over. That's something that I hope is not the case. I hope whatever happened at Fastlane, if John, I know a lot of people maybe not want to see John be the guy who's the first one to make either Rusev submit or pin him. I know a lot of fans would not want to see that. They may want to see it be somebody different. And I would like for it to be Ryback. I predicted Ryback versus Rusev at Mania. And I hope that still happens. But this is a good rub for Rusev. He's in with Cena. And if he has a good performance with Cena, that's an extra rub. Just like this whole thing with Reigns. Reigns at Fastlane is going to be Reigns versus Bryan. This can really benefit Reigns. He puts on one hell of a match with Bryan, can give him some real momentum. Like, okay, you know what? He had a great singles match. I agree with my friend Nate. Even though Reigns is being subjected to be, into the main event of WrestleMania, he still has yet to when you ask my, hey, like you're talking to your buddy, hey, what's that real, career moment Roman Reigns singles match? Maybe somebody asks that to you, like, he hasn't had that yet. Whoa, maybe this match with Bryan could be there. His match with Orton was good at SummerSlam, but it wasn't necessarily that career breakthrough match. Mostly every top person in wrestling has had that career breakthrough match. Most of the time it comes right before they win the top belt, or it comes immediate, or it comes when they win the top belt, that match when they won it, or it comes immediately after their first match after winning the belt. Because with Batista, I've always felt his career breakthrough match, his career is like one of his defining career moment, career matches, came after he won the belt.
I think for me, the match that really, to me, cemented Batista was either A, when he fought Triple H for the belt at Mania, or even the World Heavyweight title match that he had with The Undertaker.
I was gonna go with, because arguably my favorite Batista match, and for me it really put him over the top. Okay, this guy, his Hell in a Cell match with Triple H. That one I'm like, all right, that was great. I can watch that match on repeat without getting bored. And that's always it. That's where I can tell a match is great for me. When I can put that thing on repeat and just keep watching it. Because that match, if we would have never seen Triple H versus Batista at Vengeance 2005, Hell in a Cell, that is one badass match. That was the first time I've ever saw a barbed wire wrapped steel chair come into WWE. I'm like, holy shoot. Man, it's a freaking barbed wire steel. And yeah, and then later on, yeah, the series he had with Undertaker, man, that really did Batista some favor. So yeah, Reigns have yet to have it. He's had it with the Shield, but he has yet to have it by himself. And this match with Bryan could beat that before, if he is to win, goes on to face Brock Lesnar.
But you know what, though? Somebody made a theory about Mania, one that I can see being, making a lot of logical sense.
Is it Heyman turning on Brock and siding with Reigns?
Yeah, and them turning Reigns, heel. I'm like, as convoluted as that sounds, it's also not maybe a bad idea.
It's not the first. It wouldn't be the first time Paul screws Brock.
But also at the same time, let's face it, Brock is leaving WWE. He's going back to the UFC or MMA. We've all read the headlines with that. Um, and also, Heyman, of course, is going to still be in the company, and as much as annoying as the Walrus gets, I gotta say it. Listening to Paul with his last couple of promos, is he not channeling like old school Heenan from back in the day, like just a little bit?
Heenan was one of his favorites.
Like I'm starting to notice that more evidently, and plus, honestly, it may be a far-fetched leap, but I would say that Heyman and Reigns would be kind of like Heenan and Rude back in the day.
Oh, wow, never thought about it. Only similarities I'm seeing is just the hair.
Well, no, it's no. If Roman can work on his ring skills and stuff like that, it's like he'd be much more like a more powerhouse version of the Ravishing One. Like I said, it's a very far-fetched leap, but it's just one that, when I think about it, from a logistical standpoint, it kind of would make sense because let's face it, you know, Roman trying to do stuff by himself, we can see that he can't really do it necessarily by himself, and so having Heyman there, to help with promos and to basically manage him, it kind of would benefit Roman a lot more than just, oh, well, he's going to beat Brock for the title and then that's it. It's like, it might do more good than harm for Roman's career, actually.
Well, the thing is, you never know because of my friend Nip. It's not like Brock necessarily. It's not the idea with Nate telling me that I want to go to UFC and I'm just done with it. No, he's willing to stay for a little bit longer. It just depends on if WWE pays him. So that's why I'm now not. I'm really holding it the thought that yeah, Brock is leaving WWE right after Mania. If it's true that he's willing to wait, you know what? I would have thought the opposite. He's just here for a paycheck, and he's gonna go back to the UFC because he has unfinished business. He's just here for a pay. All this time, he's just here for a paycheck. He doesn't really care about WWE, or anything. No, if he's willing to stay, hey, great. I just say, hey, do more than 3 moves. That's all I'm saying. Just do more than 3 moves because
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it is, wrestling. It's not, frickin', like MMA, UFC, like, actual street brawling.
this
But
guy just does German suplexes, a suplex, if you want to call it a suplex, and then an F5, and then looks lost. And I'm like, if Javon was
yeah,
here,
but I will admit though, he did at least, make the German suplex look cool when he took Noble and Mercury, and you saw Mercury land on his big shiny, Curly from Three Stooges dome.
that is true. I had
That,
never
that, that
seen
that's
that.
still, I don't care what anybody says about Brock or says about that triple threat match at the Rumble. That to me was the most impressive highlight aside from Rollins, like table smashing elbow drop. It's you know it's like that wasn't just a normal German suplex that he was doing all throughout the match. No, he picked two human beings up, two cruiserweighted dudes, one in each arm like sacks of potatoes, like small children, and literally suplexed them.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a botch. You would think, yeah, something like that on his first try, I may look really sloppy.
No, he literally, no, literally, and even if it's a botch, it would have been a botch on Noble and Mercury's part.
Yeah, but see, unfortunately, this this Steve Malcolm show, the return of the Steve Malcolm show was not a botch. It was not a botch by any means. And when I mean by any means, I mean by any means. That's a lot of means in one sentence.
Oh god, don't remind me of beans. I literally was killing burritos today, and now I'm paying for it.
I say you don't have to pay for it any longer, and nobody has to hear the farts, you know, that are gonna come, in succession, because nobody has to hear that. But it was great for this Stephen Malcolm show. It's great for this thing to
It might as
return.
well have just been a wrestling corner episode because I don't think we talked about much of anything else beyond wrestling. I think.
No, run up. We talked about the House of the Dead. We talked about, we had a good long period about what should be for shows that are getting canceled. Because that was where the first comments came in.
We did for a while, but I kind of felt like yeah, we did trail a little too much into the wrestling for this episode. You do. Hold on a second.
What the hell?
Where's my squirt bottle?
But it was great to have you guys. I know it was great for you guys to see us back in this media. No, not social media, just this media. I know. So Jay Flow and Nathan Banks and Kyle, Mr. Longworth 96, like Victor would say. Great that you joined me and Steve. I'm assuming Kayla might watch the record. No, because she was very very instrumental into action. If it's gonna be on the same channel, and I said same host, same channel, and that's exactly what it was. And hopefully there will not be a long drought from this episode to the next episode. And you see, you got to be doing this. It's got to be a flow. You got to flow like this. Flow like the waves. You got to flow. That's what you got to do. You got to flow. You can't flow and then brown just fall like that. You got to flow like a wave. And
Why
see,
is this reminding me of that Conan O'Brien like Mortal Kombat X skit
and
with
see,
like the the Seahawks and Patriots guy, and they're just sitting there and he's talking about Dougieing, and Conan's like, what do you mean Dougieing? As
with
they're playing
Marshawn Lynch.
Sub-Zero versus Scorpion.
Yeah, with Marshawn Lynch and Rob Gronkowski. Gronk. Beast mode versus Gronk. Anyway, so
Gronk, use your bumblebees.
oh, Steve, are you sipping on freaking Clorox?
No, it's apparently a Ben Squirt bottle of like just regular water.
Okay, I'm about to say, nah, I thought it was hand sanitizer. But never you mind that. See, I'm throwing off because for Steve, this is Malcolm. And you just watched the Stephen Malcolm Show, episode 7. And hey, if you have a Valentine, hey, treat her or him right. Because then maybe, I don't know, because if Kayla, if you're watching this, and I bet you not only do have a Valentine, but you do have a significant other, treat them well. And Kyle, you can treat your cookies well if that's your Valentine. But treat them well as I'm flowing off. And with that, we bid you an adieu. Stay